The Audi A2 is a pretty cool little car, designed in the late 90s to save the planet before it was cool to do so. Its all aluminium construction meant that it was very lightweight, small little car but with some very clever packaging to fit lots of things in it. Meant that you could get huge MPG with these cars, and because they were designed in the late 90s, they're pretty simple construction. You know, the engines are solid, reliable, well-built engines that we're used to from the VW group at that time. However, there were one or two small issues that could arise, of course, and one or two more serious ones. Unfortunately, my very own car, Rufus as he is known, the Audi A2 1.4 petrol, does have one of the more serious issues. Now, he's done 140,000 miles, so we can't blame him too much. As we speak, he is in the garage over there, WAM Automotive, where I've come back to basically get him finally sorted out. The big problem that he can have, and it is in the 1.4s and the 1.6 FSI as well, it can happen. You've got the valve guides inside the cylinder head, and they essentially wear out and they no longer guide the valve in the cylinder head where it should be, and then that means that you lose compression, and that means that you get misfires and the engine does not run properly. Unfortunately, it's not just a case of a quick fix or whatever. It does require to take the cylinder head off and essentially refurbish it, replace anything that needs replacing, such as the valve guides. Today, fingers crossed, we are going to find out. We're going to strip that engine down and we're going to see the issues that he may or may not have. So this is Marcus, one half of WAM Automotive.
Hello.
Hello. He's going to be basically working on the engine today, stripping it down. We've already kind of made a start. We've got the wiper. The wiper arm has to come off because, as you were saying, this bit here needs to come out.
Yeah, it's just all about making a bit of space initially.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get the intake for the HVAC off, get the headlight off so we can get all this piping out, exhaust off, all the coil packs, all the gubbins up here, and then strip the cam belt off, the cylinder head cover or camshaft housing off, which will allow us to see the cylinder head bolts and get the head off.
Fantastic. I can't wait to see what's under there. Only in an A2 garage would you have a specifically designed bit of kit to hold the bonnet. Little Rufus box. Yeah, so the guy I bought it off, he put that on. It's a wiper motor ground.
There's a ground connection in the motor itself and it's highly loaded and it fails over time, so
Okay.
simple fix, just a ground strap onto the body of the motor.
And the symptoms are that the wiper moves incredibly slowly,
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah, you'll start seeing it slow down over time and then eventually it just won't go at all.
Don't worry, you're not getting parted out. You're just in hospital.
These spring band clamps, a lot of people,
Oh, yeah.
if you don't have the tool, they're horrible. But if you get
Yeah.
only a cheap tool, if you try and open them with pliers, it's not very nice. But
I'm like, how the heck do they even get on there? But there
yeah,
you go.
so this bit here, it's something you only see on the 1.4 petrols again. So there is a mechanical valve in there that runs off heat. So when the engine's cold, that flap is open, draws in hot air from the exhaust manifold shrouding here.
So it's EGR?
Well, no, it's not EGR. It's literally just drawing in hot air from
to help warm it up.
Give it a bit of warmer air when it's on cold.
They're just coming out for the 78th time now.
Yeah.
But look, it says Bosch.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. You proud of me?
Yeah.
It's mostly just plant life. I thought it might be insect. Oh, there is an insect there. Yeah. Rob's sneaking away.
Yeah, it's all nice and dry down the bores going down to the spark plugs. It's not oil seal. That's the gap between the cylinder head and the
That's good.
rock cover. You can see there. We did see them leak sometimes.
Not bad for 140,000.
No, it's tidy.
The little pot that collects the water from under the bonnet when it's. I once heard some guy on YouTube refer to that as a shiwi.
Really?
Yeah. I can see what he's getting at. It's vital because otherwise water goes on the gearbox.
Yeah, straight onto the shift tower conveniently.
Yeah. One of the things I love about doing this is that even if I didn't have this camera, I would like nothing more than just to stand next to the mechanic and ask him a load of annoying questions. It was worth starting a YouTube channel just solely so I could do this. Up to 2 boxes now. That's good.
There we go. See the little intake plenum off. All this is to do with quieting down intake noise.
Oh, okay.
That's throttle body off. Bit gummy.
Oh, yeah.
Not too bad there. Yeah, got the Small, tiny little EGR cooler. We do see if you get an EGR insufficient flow fault, it's not necessarily.
That gets clogged up.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the valve. It normally gets clogged up through there. Dead simple fix, just a 10mm, 8mm drill bit, something like that. Clear it out. Yeah, so that's the inlet manifold, complete with injectors. It's one of the pivot for the gearbox, the linkage. Just get it out of the way so we can get access to the thermostat housing a bit more. It's just the controller for the rad fan. Nothing too exciting. Yeah, just get the downpipe off here, off the manifold, 4-bolt flange, drop that down so we can get the manifold off upwards. Auxiliary drive belt off, crank pulley off, and start stripping back the cam belt. Yeah, just removing the pulley and the auxiliary belt tensioner, just so we can get access to one of the bolts for the cam belt cover. Quick test, I'd say. Nice and smooth, no horrible noises. That's good. Hopefully they look worse than they are. And they do often break off quite nicely.
You'd think they wouldn't get so rusty because they'd be hot, wouldn't you? You'd think they'd be dry.
Yeah, I think it's the heat cycles that kind of kills the metal. That's why exhaust components often suffer. These nuts are copper, or at least they have a bit of a copper coating to them. They often look a lot worse than they are. Again, whatever the material they use really works well.
I mean, would you say generally the petrol engine is less reliable than the diesel in these cars?
It's difficult to say. We don't see as many high mileage petrols, so it's difficult to say in that respect. They generally don't go that wrong. You've got the coil pack issue. Odd EGR valve fail. Throttle bodies are really robust. And there's not that much to them really, so.
This valve issue is one of the big, sort of, the main one to sort of watch out for really with this engine then.
Yeah, if you're worried about big bills, that is the issue.
So if you're buying one of these cars, that's not that you can necessarily check for it, but. Yeah,
you just want to look out for any rough running, I guess. Engine lights. It may not be as simple as a coil pack, which a lot of it's the number one suspect.
That's the one you want to hope it is,
Yeah. A2 diesels, they don't suffer the low mileage issues that a modern diesel will do with the DPFs and whatever. Okay. There's no issue with it. Squeeze the exhaust manifold out now. There we go. Lovely. Yeah, all good. You got your pre-cat in there. Designed to get hot quicker than the main catalyst and get working a bit quicker. No signs of any oil. Any oil in there may indicate a valve stem seal leaking a bit.
So the EGR valve is kind of, the bolts are stuck on?
Yeah, they're just really not feeling nice. They're kind of loosen an 1/8, 16th of a turn, and it's just going tight again. Let it soak for a bit, come back to it and see if we can get it off.
This is the first thing that's kind of really fought you?
Yeah, it's all been straightforward so far.
Yeah.
So.
And you say normally the EGR valve's not actually a problem?
Yeah.
This is Chloe, third member of staff at WOM. So cute. She's in the office doing office work.
Jack underneath the engine so we can get the engine mount off on this side. Chock of wood important. Then put a hole in the sump. It's your engine mount.
Nice. Ever have any issues with these?
Yeah, sometimes you see them, kind of the rubber compressing overly. The metal can start contacting there. So generally pretty rare.
Yeah, got the date on it there, 2002. Yeah, no, I've had that problem. You can't stick the magnetic torch to anything because everything's aluminium.
You sometimes see these bolts seizing into the cylinder head. Steel and aluminium doesn't really get on.
Yeah.
It's kind of an intermediate bracket between the cylinder head and the actual engine mount itself. Yeah.
Made in France, apparently. There's another one just arrived. Do you want to be on camera yourself or no?
You had the back to me, so I'm not.
Okay. This chap's just come from Kent all the way to WOM Automotive. Shows the pull of. I mean, it's the only Audi A2 specialist, so people come from a long old way.
Well, yeah, it all looks good. Yeah, the belt's in.
That's good.
As far as you can tell, it looks fairly good. No obvious signs of distress, no contamination from oil or coolant. We'll find the TDC marks on the crank. 360 degrees out of phase on the crank, but if you can just see on that, you can see how it kind of slopes away.
Yeah. Oh, on the end. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just straight up. So it's that one that needs to line up with that mark there, TDC. So yeah, we'll rotate the crank 360 degrees and then we should be there. Yeah, that's at TDC now. It's 2 8mm drill bits. And that locks the cam, so they're both locked in place now. So it's all safe to release the tensioner, and then we can get the belt off. It's all pretty good. They're not pure. They're not all rubber. There's obviously some rubber content onto it. But all these fibres you see are Kevlar.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of strength to them. It is aftermarket, but it's Iron A, so good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. It comes.
There it goes.
Good healthy colour anyway.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Plenty of antifreeze in there.
He's bleeding.
Yeah.
It's just like a big bucket of red coolant blood. And this is the pump.
Yeah.
So this is an aftermarket.
It is aftermarket, but again, it's an Iron A pump, so.
Oh right, so it's.
Yes, it's a good quality pump. Been put on with silicone for whatever reason. It's freed up a bit.
Oh yeah, the EGR that does not want to come off.
Got a bit more movement in it now, but it's still
It's free.
good plug for WD-40
Yeah.
there.
If ever it needed even more, that WD-40 stuff's pretty good, isn't it?
There we go. That's
Yay.
your EGR valve. Exhaust gas in, exhaust gas out.
Too clogged up.
No, it's nice and
it's
clean.
all right,
It's
isn't it?
generally really hot gas there, so the A2OC call the pipe down the back here and the death pipe.
Oh right, is that on this car as well?
Yeah, but
It isn't a death pipe on this car.
it's pretty much identical, but it doesn't.
Oh right, so on the 1.6 FSI, this pipe here is a cause of some major.
Yeah, and
Major
again, we
issues.
think it's just heat and pressure that gives it a hard life, whereas
So what, it breaks it basically.
yeah, it usually splits it straight.
And then what
down.
happens to the car if that happens?
Loses it coolant.
Right.
If you
and
stop
then
straight away, it's not an issue. But
Right.
if you keep on driving, then
Right. So it can
Yeah.
kill the engine if you're.
if you're
yeah,
a bit reckless with
but
it.
not on the 1.4,
No.
generally speaking. Yeah, anyone watching this who's considering a 1.6 FSI, which is the fun one, the fast one, the fun one, it's also the one that causes the most headaches. Thermostat off.
Yeah, housing. That's the thermostat you've seen. So
Yeah. No way of telling whether that's. knackered or
no,
not.
the only way you can tell is boiling water
Put it
and
into
see.
water,
yeah,
yeah.
see when it's opening and closing.
All these bits off Rufus. All these bits.
Yeah, so we'll slacken him from the outside inwards, opposite to tightening,
Mm-hmm.
just so it doesn't distort it as you slacken him. And we'll slacken him probably about one turn at a time. These cans sometimes, the ones that see a bit of distress with the rust, they can be a bit tight sometimes.
Right,
but
yeah.
hopefully. Yeah. There we go.
There we are. Still at this point, no way of actually seeing the issue.
No, you can't see. Very clean, really, for an engine that it's obviously been well looked after on its oil changes.
That's good.
You can see, sometimes you open them up and there's a hard crust everywhere on them. So to see it kind of golden like that's really good.
That's good. Rufus has been cared for.
Yeah.
The service history, this backs up the service history that I've got, which is pretty good. And the cams looking okay.
Yeah, there's just not witness mark from that scoring on that follower, but I can't feel it with my fingernail at all, so it really is next to nothing. The rest of it really good.
This is why you got to do your oil changes, folks.
Yeah. All the hydraulic lifters out.
So they just sit there. They're not even like stuck in or anything.
Yeah. So yeah, they're kind of sandwiched between the camshaft and the. So this is your follower and hydraulic lifter or lash adjuster. They get called sometimes. So that takes oil pressure and fills the gap between the camshaft and the follower, and so you don't get any tapping like you used to. The old cars.
Yeah.
You used to have to adjust those manual. Again, just slackening these in reverse order, so starting from the outside in, just tweak them. About 90 degrees at a time. She's off. Straight onto the bench. Fairly crude test I'll do in a sec. It's just put a bit of brake and clutch cleaner down all the ports, and then it will trickle through.
Right.
Probably where we.
So you wouldn't expect to see that like damaged or anything, or is
no. Generally, visually, this side.
Is this cylinder 3?
Yes.
This,
Yeah, this is cylinder 3. Yeah.
So this is the culprit, but we don't know yet
The
exactly
only
what.
thing that is slightly different is the colour of that valve, and whether
Yeah.
that's an indication that it's been leaking past that side a bit. Good valve wouldn't let any of this past, so there you go.
Oh yeah,
straight
through. Yeah, just on that one.
Yeah, that really is leaking badly.
Yeah,
Just came
straight through. So if you did it on,
Yeah, well, I think that one's pretty good. It hasn't really straight
Yeah.
through.
did it on one that's not got a. I mean, it's very satisfying to see. Like cylinder 3 is the one with the issue, and it just leaked straight out.
Yeah.
Cylinder 4 did not have a misfire, and
Yeah, absolutely.
it
How
was
is it
totally
perfectly.
sealed. Yeah. And then 2
Yeah.
is fine.
Maybe just can you just see it creeping through on this one?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm just glad that it's so obvious.
Same again on that one. Just creeping
Oh
through.
yeah. Yeah, it's changing colour, but it's not like that one that's just completely utterly
just
just like
pouring out.
pouring out.
Yeah, so as part of the rebuild anyway, you'd be stupid not to do all your valve, all valve guides at the same time. They'll be lapped back in, all your seals. Yeah, so it's looking fairly good. I mean, they're fairly shiny, but there's no obvious scoring of the bores. There's a bit down the back end there, but it's done 140,000 miles. You can still see the honing marks slightly. Can you see that very slightly? You can see a bit of criss-cross kind of scoring
from
on
when
this.
it was manufactured.
Yeah. When you start to lose that honing, that's when you start to have oil consumption issues.
Right. Okay.
But they're the side that generally get the most wear as the piston kind of tilts as it's thrust down. It kind of does put a bit of a tilting action on it.
Okay.
Which is when you kind of hear the piston slap on these as well. You
Yes, I've
probably
heard
read
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the piston just doing that a bit in the bores.
You can kind of live with it for quite a long time.
Yeah, it's just a
feature.
We've never kind of seen them cause an issue. It can just be a bit noisy sometimes. It's all nice on the coolant jackets as well. Bring it right back down to 3 and 4 at TDC. Yeah, again, the bore's really tidy.
It's really good news because basically every part of the engine that we didn't suspect had an issue is totally fine and seemingly in great condition, and then the one problem that we thought the engine had, it does have. So it's like it's good news really. We can fix those valves, and Rufus should be good to go. The next step then is basically to send this off to your trusted head refurbisher basically.
Yeah.
And they're gonna replace all these.
Not necessarily the valves.
Oh, right,
If
okay.
they see any issues with the valves, they will. But generally,
It's the guides, or
yeah. So there's some you can't see them. They're in
No.
the cylinder head. But yeah, the guides at the valves slide
right,
up and down, and they'll definitely do all the exhaust.
And clean it all up.
Yeah. I'll have a good soak in a bath first, and then they'll give it a good assessment. We'll give them an indication from what we've found.
Yeah.
All be disassembled. So you compress the springs, the collets will come out, and then the springs and the caps can just come out, and then that releases the valve. They'll do all the valve stem seals and all the exhaust guides, but generally they find the inlet guides are fine.
Okay.
Just because they get an easier life.
Yeah.
There's a bit more chance of oil getting down there, even though it shouldn't do. But they run a lot cooler.
Yeah. Well, we didn't see anything coming through the inlet, did we?
No. Well, there was a tiny bit on one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there was
absolutely.
one. Yeah, just one.
Absolutely.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah, and they'll skim it as well, but they'll take next to nothing off just to give it a really nice sealing face for it. And they'll pressure test it, and then hopefully good to go.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
For now. He's looking a bit sorry for himself now, but he will be back on the road. So it's been 2 weeks since I was here last, and the cylinder head is back, and it looks shiny AF in there. It looks absolutely brand new. Best Christmas present ever. Not that it's Christmas. It's Christmas for Rufus. Engine check void if removed. Have they added that?
Yeah, so what it'll be, it'll change colour or something if it overheats.
Oh, okay. Obviously they've pressure tested it themselves, then they've stripped it of all the valves and springs. Well, at first they put it in a chemical bath and cleaned it.
Yeah.
Stripped it of all the valves and springs, decoked it, cleaned the valve ports, and then obviously they've checked the valve guides and they've found that every single one on the exhaust side are worn out, as we kind of knew. But from my understanding, basically the valve, it goes through there, the stem goes through that hole, and it should be pretty tight.
Yeah, so essentially it's sitting like that, pretty much under the spring. Yeah, the valve comes through here. That's the oil seal to stop oil getting down onto the valve head.
Yeah. And the valve was basically just like loose within, like rattling around inside there, kind of.
Yeah, so it won't be loads, it'll only go 1 mil either way probably, but that's enough.
That's enough for it to basically then not sit right in the valve seat, then you've got your compression issues basically. Yeah. So all down to that, and it's all because like they've made the cylinder head out of aluminium cylinder head, and they've made the valve guides out of cheese.
Well, it's brass actually.
Oh, is it brass? It's not cheese.
So yeah, it is a hard material, but with it on the exhaust side, it does. It gets a bit more distress. It gets hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No lubrication there.
And then they've refaced the cylinder head because obviously once you've taken the head gasket off, you've got to make sure it's all. This part here is all slick, so you can tell. Look how like shiny that is, and all the valves are now like totally clean and.
Yeah, so they would have lapped them back in, which involves pretty much a bit of grinding paste, and then they kind of spin the valves on the seats, and it makes them bed in really nicely.
Obviously, with these guides, you also need the stem seals on all 16 of the
it's one
valves.
of the jobs for the cost of them.
You have to do it, because otherwise
Yeah,
so that's that little rubber bit at the end.
So if these wear out and it starts letting oil by, the oil gets either into the exhaust or into the inlet side.
And then you end up with blue smoke.
Yeah, burning it either way, straight into the exhaust or through the engine.
So the first job is to clean up the face of this, the top of the block. It's got to be absolutely immaculate for it to mate properly to the gasket and everything, and not cause yourself some serious issues. So what's this, the throttle body?
Yeah, we can sometimes get throttle not being pretty unresponsive at low RPM. See it a lot if you give these a good clean, make them a lot more responsive.
Okay, well that'll be nice. It's not actually a toothbrush, is it? Because that's why you wouldn't want to brush your teeth with that. So you were saying the throttle bodies are really reliable on these, given that they are a computer-controlled thing.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had to change one. Yeah, they're purely drive-by-wire throttle body.
Oh, that's cool then, because that's pretty advanced for its day. I had a Kia Picanto 2010, and that was a cable.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a very basic car, that.
You can actually see a gap between the butterfly and the...
Oh, right, so that's what it's meant to be like.
Yeah, you couldn't really see that gap.
So is that shut then?
Yeah, that's fully shut, yeah.
So it's fully shut, but it's meant to have... Yeah, and before that was just sealed with carbon.
Yeah, pretty much. These are the hydraulic lifters. So these are designed to take up the clearance between the camshaft and the valve. So the oil pressure is fed through that hole, and that gap there adjusts it basically. So when any work like this, where clearances may have changed, you need to kind of reset them. Basically all we're doing here is forcing the oil back out of them.
Oh, right, okay, squeezing it out.
Yeah, because what we don't want is if a clearance has changed and that's expanded too much, there's potential for it holding a valve open slightly.
Right,
then you'd be back with similar symptoms to what you had before. So
yeah, don't want that.
on initial startup, the engine will sound noisy.
Right.
Like, you got noisy tappets, but as soon as these start filling them with oil and reducing that gap, it'll go back to being quiet. Yeah, it's been put on with silicone at some point.
Yeah, whoever used to work on my car loved silicone.
Yeah, nasty stuff.
So this is thermostat housing. Yeah, because while we're doing this, we're replacing the thermostat because the engine wasn't sitting properly at operating temperature. It would get colder if you were going downhill or something. So we've got the old thermostat there, which was somebody had fitted a cheap part, and then we've got this new VW one.
Yeah, all the genuine markings on that one.
And that should mean I'm going to get better efficiency, which is what that car is all about. It's one of the first jobs I ever really tried to do on a car. Was a thermostat, and when I put the coolant all back in, it all just came gushing out.
Yeah. There we go, straight on. You always want to be careful for it's not. I had my finger next to the dowels, so I'm not denting the cylinder head on those dowels that were poking out of the engine block.
Right. Okay.
Those will damage the aluminium quite easily.
It's quite soft metal.
We'll get the bolts in.
I've got the procedure to follow. Yeah, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it like
diagonally outwards, pretty
diagonally
much.
outwards, and sort of just spread the forces out and make it just completely flat, I guess, and not. So what is the shape of the head gasket itself? Kind of like warps or whatever, and then.
No, I think it's essentially you're distorting the cylinder head as you clamp it down.
Oh, the actual cylinder head, right?
Yeah, that's what they're
concerned about. Even worse.
Yeah, the click.
It's just funny how shiny that looks, how clean and new, and then the rest of the engine is just like manky. Oh, so this is so you can get 90 degrees? Or...
Yeah, and then it's a good check as well when you know they're all pointing downwards. You've torqued them all up.
Okay, I see, yeah. So the lifter's going in.
Yeah, this is the anaerobic sealant. It only cures in the absent of air. So as soon as this,
once it's sandwiched.
Because what you don't want is, like, these are quite sensitive oil galleries. What you don't want is, if you were to use silicone, for example, the chance of you getting silicone and blocking one of those galleries is quite high, and then that's what you don't want to happen. This is feeding the bearings for the camshafts. If it does get there, there's always air there, and as soon as
there's air, it goes back to being
it'll
liquid.
just stay like this.
Then it just
or
buggers off into the
the oil.
oil.
Yeah, the oil will just take it away. Yeah.
Look at that. Full engine.
So these again got a torque sequence on them. Obviously, we'll be compressing the springs on the valves down as we do this.
So even more reason to
do
it in order, otherwise it'd be...
Yeah, it's the same concept again, inside out.
Yeah. New water pump time.
Yeah, shiny new water pump, new seal, ready to go. That's the main belt tensioner.
And this is a new part as well, the tensioner. You replace that every time.
All new. That there needs to line, so that is going to line up with that bolt.
Right.
To keep it all at the right orientation. And just like that.
Just like little pincers.
And it's just an idler.
Just keeps the belt in the right place.
Yeah, keeps it running and stops it flapping. Old and new.
Oh yeah. No, it actually wasn't changed that long ago, but it's not an official belt, is it?
No.
Although it is made in the UK, so quality. Nicked Nicken.
Yeah.
Do not crimp.
That's on, and I just need to get the tensioner on now. Belt tensioner for the intermediate belt, and just
because I guess the idea is that over time these things get slightly slackered,
Yeah.
and then the tensioner just adjusts.
yeah, it's designed to compensate for that. Yeah, probably the world's easiest headlight to remove. Rotate that round, and the point just starts to move. To get it into the middle there, and then we can tighten the bolt up to in position on the bottom crank.
Oh yeah, the two little marks are lined up.
And then these pins are in.
So the timing
holes.
cannot go out.
Yeah.
Conti Tech, but it's an OEM.
Yeah, so Contitech is Continental, pretty much.
Ah, okay.
And the water pump.
Feed it around.
And just see it's pulled, as you pull it over it has pulled it out on the crank. But as soon as we tension it, it will pull it back into place. You'll see it's just pulled it backwards a bit.
Oh yeah, very
That's it.
slightly out of line.
Yeah. And there we go, you can see the needle's moving. Yeah, that's it, and it's pulled it pretty much level again. And we'll take the pins out, and rotate it, and check all the tensions and alignment, and then we're good to go.
So if it all turns around smoothly, you know nothing's...
Yeah. You know, no valves are hitting the piston.
Yeah.
That's one rotation.
They're going back in because...
Just to double check. Yeah. So yeah, we're all good.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, just double check with the time's right once we've done a few rotations. And yeah, they've gone straight in. So it's quite an easy bit to just put on.
Yeah, I put that on not that long ago, so yeah. Why is this so massive? Like, all it does is let air into the engine, right?
Yeah, so you could probably see. Yeah, so it's kind of coming in there, goes here, and then it's looping around. It's all to do with resonances in the air. As a valve shuts, that air that's coming in, so say the air's just rushed into the cylinder, the air's flowing, but you've got a shut valve here, so it's got nowhere to go. That air will bounce back. The diameter and the length of this tube is tuned so that when that bounces back, the inlet valve is just opening, so it actually is designed to just force air into the engine as well.
Just at that moment.
And obviously it's tuned to a specific engine RPM, I'd imagine around 3,000 RPM, and it'll give you a nice torque and power where you're kind of using the engine revs the most. But yeah, that's why it's not just direct straight in there.
Throttle body on.
Yeah. EGR valve going
valve going back on. Normally the oil filter's a bit of a pain to get to, but while we've got some space, the oil's going to need changing anyway, isn't it? Because the engine's fresh oil change to go with the fresh cylinder head. And it was due one anyway, so.
Yeah, nice and easy.
Oh, OEM, of course.
Yeah, got to be. Smear of grease around the seal.
The other one was a man.
Yeah, man.
I've heard of that. It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the filters that we can't get OE anymore, we go for man.
Just manifold gasket, exhaust manifold.
Yeah, exhaust manifold.
Shiny.
Right.
It's just like a heat shield.
Yeah. Not too bad. We're on.
If I was being lazy, I could have just reversed all the footage of you taking it off.
Only I could do that.
It's like the old Haynes manuals that always used to say, fitting is the reverse of removal. Yeah, while we're draining this oil, I was just talking to Marcus about the fact that I'm wearing my glasses, and it's because I'm getting laser eye surgery in a week's time, so the glasses will never be worn again after this, and obviously I can't wear contact lenses right before it, so if this part makes it into the video, it's because I've not gone blind and everything went well. So.
In fact, I'm not going to plug them in yet because we'll just turn the engine over and won't let it fire just to get the oil circulating before we actually get it firing. Hopefully it doesn't all come out the bottom.
Do you have a particular kind of oil that you use?
Yeah, so it's Quantum, which is the TPS branded stuff basically, but
Okay.
it's brewed by Fuchs pretty much, so it's all VW approved.
Yeah.
It's some real good quality oil.
The coil packs are not plugged in, but we're going to turn the engine over and see
Just to
see what happens.
Yeah, generate a bit of oil.
Yeah, get the
things
oil flowing round. Well, it turns over, so that's, you know.
Yeah, and it was nice and even cranking.
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
So. Hopefully first
We are
kick.
going to start her up now. Him up. Well, hey, thanks, Marcus.
First go as well.
Yeah, yeah. That's them noisy lifters then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
As it runs, and it'll smooth out. It'll just be a bit of oil burning off from
okay.
probably the WD-40.
Oh
from when
yeah,
we,
WD-40, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit happier now. Coolant's pumping. Yeah, that's the smell of WD-40.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely doesn't smell like exhaust. It smells like WD-40. And yeah, it's noisier because the hydraulic lifters have to fill with oil.
Yeah, and it usually probably about 5 to 10 minutes of ticking over before it pumps them up. So, how quickly would it start misfiring before?
That's difficult to say, but because I think when it's warming up, the idle's a bit higher. So it's once it's settled down, it wasn't consistent, but it would be within a few minutes probably. If, you know, if you were at lights or whatever, it could happen within 20 seconds, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get the diagnostics on it, see how it's looking. Because it will be lit up at the minute as we've had the coil packs off. And
I mean, it's a bit like
it's yeah. I'll knock it off and then we'll clear some codes.
Retrieving fault codes.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
This is from before, right?
Yeah, so you've got your cylinder 3
Cylinder 3
misfire,
misfire, which is what I had.
And then we've got the ignition coils open circuit.
Fault's cleared. Everything's fine. Nothing to worry about.
This is just doing the throttle body alignment now.
Oh yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear it clicking away in there.
See it again, see what it does now. That seems better.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems happier.
However, it does still think we've got
A leak.
an air leak.
Well, the main thing is it doesn't think we've got a misfire.
It's the engine characteristics have changed that much between the work being done. It's completely thrown its brain that it thought it had an air leak. So
turn it off and on again a couple of times, and now it's totally smooth. It sounds like even the lifters have quietened down now.
yeah,
That sounds kind of normal.
yeah, it's nice, perfect.
Yeah. That's awesome. That smooth. It starts so good as well. Like
Yeah, it's got some learning to do. The way it started, then how it revved up so much.
yeah. It's funny that, isn't it? It's just like, even though this car's 23 years old, it's still full of some pretty sophisticated electronics.
Yeah,
I mean, it's literally figuring itself out now. It's like
yeah, it does learn.
half of its heart has been swapped out, and it's like confused, but figuring it out. Sounds really smooth. Whether it's just my imagination or what, but it sounds better than it did.
Yeah, no,
prior to rebuild.
Almost because the valve's been loosened, the guys will generate noise and ticking, so it sounds really healthy now. Cool, happy.
Yeah. I'm happy. You're happy.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, from when you brought it the first time, just for the inspection, it would play up just ticking over like this, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it did do. Yeah. So Marcus has been out once already in it, but now it's my first drive of Rufus since. And it just starts quicker than it did before.
Yeah.
It was starting to get a bit like it wasn't happy, but yeah, this is exciting. Oh, we've got Rob in the back as well. Other half of Warm Automotive. You may have seen him already. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, already I can see that the temperature gauge is sat exactly at 90 degrees, so that's good. And he's just running. The engine's so smooth. Yay for Rufus! I can't wait to find out. Just do a proper MPG tests and stuff with him. Right. So what's the computer telling you, if anything?
All happy, really.
All happy.
Yeah, just keep it as temperatures fluctuating around 90 like it should do.
Okay, that's good.
The long-term adaptions on the fuel trim are getting better. So yeah, it's all positive.
Well, I'm gonna listen out for something on idle that it used to. Yeah, it used to do this like. It was this like. It's gone. So
0 misfires detected so far. It probably will sound slightly different because we haven't got all the sound insulation on. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sound a little bit more fruity.
Yeah.
So it's about a week later and we've got the invoice. In fact, I've paid for this now and I've got the car and I am home. First of all, a massive thank you to Rob and Marcus again because, what a great couple of guys and the work they've done is absolutely brilliant. I'm sure you'll see for yourself that Marcus is a really talented mechanic. If you've got an A2, just get yourselves down to WOM because they are the place to be. So the cost of all the little parts, that basically everything like the cylinder head gasket set and the timing belt and the water pump and the gaskets and the thermostat and the head bolts and all that kind of stuff that Marcus had to fit to the car, that came to £432. And also they've not included the oil and filter on here. Rob's very kindly donated that to me, so massively appreciated there. So then the cylinder head was sent off to the sort of cylinder head specialists where they broke it, they took it to pieces, replaced all the bits that we, like the valve guides and so on. and that costs £765. And then finally, the labour to basically fit all of those parts and the new cylinder head, that came to £720 for a total of £1,918. We were talking about how, you know, there are some components on a modern car that will cost £2,000 to replace anyway. So to get the whole engine, the top end of the engine rebuilt and all those new parts and stuff, I think it's not a bad price. Now, obviously this car only cost 950 quid, so I'm a fair chunk more into this car now. So Rufus, you're very lucky, and I think, you know, I'm going to have to keep hold of him for a while and make the most of it, aren't I? I was watching a Harry's Garage video recently, and, you know, he's a good guy, isn't he, Harry? I love that channel. It's one of my favourites. But he had his steering wheel refurbished. He had the leather on the steering wheel for his McLaren basically redone, retrimmed at McLaren Special Operations, and that cost him £2,000 to do that. So I've had the engine basically rebuilt in this car for less than what he had his steering wheel done for. So, you know, that puts it into perspective, doesn't it? This video has been a bit of a beast, really. It's a bit of a long video, isn't it, for this channel? Way longer than my previous record. It's taken quite a bit of editing to do, but, you know, if you've got this far, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and yeah, I'll see you soon for some more A2 content.